Yeah, g'day. Skeeter, as absolutely sizzling this morning. Shelter FootyCast. He's up and about. BackChat Studios. Will Schofield, Mark Redding's got a live audience today. Riley's over from Geelong. Welcome, Riley. Hello, Skeeter.
Hello. Probably the biggest audience, full stop, isn't it? I reckon having someone in the studio. I'm not sure who listens to it, but I'm told there's an audience. And if that's true, then I'll just keep talking.
Don't worry, there's an audience. A lot of feedback coming my way after my vitriol toward the West Coast Eagles.
You were really grumpy about the Eagles on Monday.
I told you before we went on. I just said, mate, I'm not in the mood to fuck around this morning. I'm gonna go hard. So people shouldn't be confused with what comes out of my mouth in media with who I am as a person. People get quite personal. I find it quite funny, but people were very upset that I thought I was just talking about a footy club.
Put it this way,
won 6 games in 3 years.
Put it this way, you can't be blamed for being overly biased towards your former club.
Well, that's okay.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think I should be sitting on this chair tooting anyone's trumpet, mate. I'll just sort of say it how it is usually.
Big week.
Shelter FootyCast on socials. Make sure you join us there. FootyCast at backchatstudios.com.au if you want to send us an email and join the show. And you can find all of our stuff at shelterfootycast.com.au. Jaden, can you please go to the fridge while we're sitting here? There's a hazy in the fridge. I forgot to get it, and you're going to have to go grab it while we sit here and continue on. Shelter are releasing their hazy IPA. That is right, Skeeter. And we're going to get you to do a live little test at 8:15 in the morning. You're not doing sort of dry August, are you?
No, I'm hosting a function after this at midday, but that should be fine.
Hosting, or are you drinking?
No, I'm MC. I'm working, yeah.
You're working?
Yeah.
So you mix pleasure with...
I'll tell you what, when you talk of quality sports individuals, I've got John Worsfold, Jeff Thompson, Terry Alderman, so there's a bit happening there, and you're going to open that and I'm going to have a sip, am I?
Yeah, no, you're going to open it. So it's the hazy IPA. It's classic velvety texture combined with big, juicy and tropical flavour profile and aromatics to create a moreish, bold and sessionable experience. And Mark Reddings is going to try it for the first time here on the Shelter FootyCast. This has never been tasted, never been to market. This is the first 4-pack available. Gee, you opened that like a professional, I can tell you that right now. Wow. Give us, and so I would like your tasting notes and the first review of the hazy IPA. Sheldon, I can't say that.
Well, let me just preface what I'm about to say. I can't tell beers apart. I'm a complete numpty. But that has got that that fruity taste to it that you mentioned. So yeah, no, I quite like it.
Give me some tasting notes, mate. What are you feeling? Like maybe you need another.
I'm feeling I shouldn't be drinking piss at 8:15 in the morning. That's what I'm saying to you. Seriously, but it's very nice. And given I'm driving after this, I'll just keep it.
Keep it on ice.
I'll just make sure I have it on the way home.
Oh,
no, I'm joking.
Very good, Skeeter. Hey, make sure you join up as a VIP of our show. You can do that at backchatstudios.com.au or shelterfootycast.com.au. Sign up as a Skeeter tier or a Scoey tier over at Patreon. What?
It's 5.7. It's the strongest beer in the world.
That's not really. I mean, a normal one's about a 4.3, 4.6. So
it's up there. I thought it might be a little like a Coors, one of those American beers that just tastes like water. No, it's got a bit of kick to it.
Just keep you feeding that into you as the episode goes on and get you nice and loose. All right, Skeet, there's a lot to get through today. Fair bit going on. So let's get into some of the big stuff going around right now. 4 gold medals last night. I've got to mention that off the top of the Olympics.
And Nina Kennedy, Matt Wern, from a WA perspective, outstanding. Nina Kennedy, just a brief story about her, and of course all her family's there. And a guy who played at Peel on the weekend, Declan Mountford, her partner, who plays for Claremont, made the trip from Peel to Paris to be with Nina on the night, which is outstanding. And it's so good for Nina. She's I don't know if you've met her, but she's terrific. Matty Wern, lovely fella. So, and they work so hard. That's all the Olympians, whether they win gold or not. They work their arse off to get to this moment. And to be able to succeed like they have and even putting in a PB, I think it's huge. It's really proud of what they've done.
Now, I say stuff that's always wrong, but Declan Mountford, one of the guys that was a top waffle player?
Absolutely.
Albany boy?
Yep. So he was down in Albany when I was there in February for a function. He was there with Nina. She was a guest speaker. Yeah, Albany boy. It was a top-up. I think he played it. I've got a feeling he played at Marvel Stadium during the COVID setup, and he got a late call-up, I think. He had to come down the elevator, and it was it was
debut, for his AFL debut.
Exactly.
So, look, I'm going to, a bit of a head wobble here. We on BackChat have interviewed Matt Wern and Nina Kennedy. So BackChat won 2 golds last night. So we were up and about watching that last night.
By association,
Yeah, absolutely. I like to insert myself in everything, don't I, Skater? So brilliant start for us at the Olympics. I mean, we're 3rd on the medal tally. And we're we're about...
We've got about 12 people in the country.
Yeah, correct. Very good. All right, let's get into the footy, Skate. There's been some retirements. We're in retirement
Season, yeah.
It just starts
Those
happening.
cars, everyone's just booking the cars for the MCG.
And do you know what the priority is? The order? Like the greats go first. Right. So
Is that how it works?
I think so. I think there's a bit of a, we'll let Dusty and Tomahawk and Gaffy go this week. Next week it'll be sort of, your 200, 150 gamers. The following week you've got your guys that aren't getting the contract, but have been serviceable and thanks for your time. I don't know who that would be. Mark Reddings, thanks for your time. And then the following week, there's just delistings and people aren't going to be there anymore.
No press conferences, no fanfare, no videotape, just a little salute.
We should just spend a little bit of time on each one of these. I think Dusty Martin played on him. Scary.
When you say played on him, as in, did you stand him for any length of time?
Yeah, bloody oath. Yeah, he was the deepest forward at times. So I guess my matchups were for a part of my career were that type of player, guys that could mark, but guys that were quick. And so DeGoey, Martin, Ablett, Johnson, that type of Goods, that sort of area.
Champions.
Don't worry, I got some lessons out to me, and he taught me some. I think we spoke about him before his 300th, just about the intimidation factor he had as a player, and didn't say a lot, if anything, but would just rise to the occasion. He's one of the best big game players we've seen ever, not just in modern day, but someone just stands up when it counts. 3-time Norm Smith medalist. You want to play your best games in grand finals, and he's done that. So, gun.
Absolutely, and I think it's probably the right decision if we're moving forward. Playing on Richmond next year, obviously off the board. Gold Coast. I'm hoping that doesn't. I don't think it will, but I'm hoping that he stays in retirement. Because I think he'd only be going there for money, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, no real reason. So, no, I think good decision. Of course, he wasn't at the press conference. It was Brendan Gale who did the trick. That's just Dusty, and you admire him for that reason. And hopefully he does take part in the grand final parade, unlike Buddy last year. I don't think made it to Melbourne.
I'd love to see something from Dusty. I don't really care what it is. I said this is his 300th. I'd love to just see something or someone sit down with him and just get his thoughts on big moments and his teammates and what footy's meant to him and a thank you to the fans.
I honestly don't think he realises what impact and what contribution he's made, and I don't think he will until he sits back. He's just not that sort of bloke to, I don't know him from a bar of soap, but I think you'd imagine that given the way he sort of told his teammates, got out of the punt road before the media arrived, that's him, and you've got to respect that, and I'd love to hear more from him, but certain blokes are that way inclined.
Tom Hawkins, greatest ever gaze. He holds the games record for Geelong. Has just been a champion of that football club for a long time, consistent. For his size and the way he's built, he's not just a tall player, he's 110.
Massive unit.
Huge unit. To be able to be consistent and not get injured and not have stress fractures, and he must have looked after his body well, or he's got good genetics. I know Tom, hopefully he doesn't mind me saying, I know he sort of likes having hit a golf and at different parts of his career, having maybe a little dart on the golf course, maybe Mark Reddings type operator, Tommy Hawkins. He likes having a beer and a dart and a golf. I think he's just a bloke.
Country bloke.
Yeah. And but it's saying that he's been professional, right? Because he's played so many games, and I've played a lot on Tomahawk. This started back in school days, so I was going to get dropped to the twos APS as year 11, and my coach at the time, Mark Russell, will come out against Melbourne Grammar, and he said there's a big kid that plays full forward. I'd been sort of forward, back, a bit of ruck, and he said, mate, I just want you to play on Tom Hawkins. He kicked 4 on me, taught me a lesson, but I battled pretty well, and I put that day down to me becoming a real backman, and I love the challenge of trying to stop people. So I've known Tom for a long time. Got drafted, he moved across the road from our house in Geelong, so there was a host family there that used to house all the new kids, the country kids that would come into Joel, and Tom moved over there, and then to watch him win flags and kick goals after the siren and playing on him. So Tom Hawkins, you can never start in front of. So a lot of players, McGovern type operators, would start in front of Tom, and he was the best in the business at starting in back position, because he would either push you under the footy and get you out the back, or because he was behind you, you would lose engagement with him, and then he would do the tick lead straight up. And so starting position on Tom Hawkins was always back shoulder, always tight. Players, again, feel like you can't go body to body with him because he's so big, which is sort of true, but you've got to be tight with him. But again, all of those factors, he still beats you. So if he's got good delivery out of the midfield, he's such a gun and holds his position so well. He's a superstar. So great job.
Absolutely. And look, as you say, father, son, always earmarked to be a player in his juniors. So just a completely different to him and Dusty, the way they've come through, and different individuals, of course, but just a gun player, and the record speaks for itself. And I love the quote from him at the press conference saying that he should have had a discussion with his family and confidants, and realised that when he's as old as some of the parents of those playing in his team at the moment, he thought maybe it's time to pull the pin. So he'll have a finals campaign, we hope, if he can get back from this foot for this injury. If not, certainly I'm really hoping from his perspective, but maybe not the Eagles, but that he gets to play one final game at Geelong.
He'll have that penciled in. West Coast, last time I won there in 2006.
Absolute massacre down there with the crowd turning out, the placards. Thanks, Tomahawk.
Riley will be down there.
Yeah,
all dressed up as Tomahawkins down there.
All the Geelong faithful will be there. So, no, two great careers, and there's another one, of course, which I regard as a great career as well. Doesn't have a premiership next to his name, but Andrew Gaff, I thought, deserves. And you speak pretty highly of him as a person, and I think deservedly so.
Well, when you finish your career, you want to be respected by your teammates, and that's what Gaffy is. So highly respected, sort of player that you look at in the race when you're about to run out, and you know exactly what you're going to get from Gaffy. And I know the last couple of years, he might have lost a yard, and he lost a yard with his kick and by pace, but mate, for a period there, he was the best winger in the game for 5, 6, 7 years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he was All-Australian twice, 2015, 2018. They were both grand final years. He just was the guy that you knew was going to go out and get touches and hurt the opposition. And opposition knew that as well. He used to get tagged on a wing, which you don't see many players getting tagged on wings. Goulden at the moment would be a guy that they do that with, but he very rarely went inside. So to go and get tagged on a wing, it just sort of says how much opposition respected him through his best years. I don't love the fact that we've seen that incident show quite a lot with his retirement. And yes, it'll be a part of his footy story with Andy Brayshaw and what happened there. But I don't think it should define him, and I don't think any incident like that should define anybody. I've seen some pretty pea-hearted fans going on about it on socials during the week.
Well,
I think like the footy world might have moved on from that.
I think so, and I hope so, because you know what? I think in life in general, but also in footy, he made a bad mistake. I don't think I've seen a bloke after an incident on field look so devastated
and remorseful
on the bench afterwards.
Yeah.
He made a terrible mistake. He knows that.
8 weeks. He cop bigger punishment than you ever see.
The damage you do to Andy Brayshaw, he's not that sort of plain. We've never seen that prior to or after. So bad mistake. He has had to deal with it more than anyone. But off the back of that, I think, you're right. 298 games. The question to you is, I know you're pretty reluctant to give farewell sort of appearances, but he's going to get 2. One in Tassie, one in Perth to get to 300. I don't mind it. If he's playing decent footy, if he's able to contribute to the side, I think it's not bad for the culture of the club. You might have a different angle.
Grumpy old man incoming, Skater. Well, look, I'll caveat with, who's missing out for Gaffy?
Well, that's the question.
If it's Ryan Marrick, who's been playing on the wing, if he's the one getting dropped, then I think Gaffy would agree with no. But given West Coast are pretty banged up at the moment,
exactly.
I think he might have been in regardless. I don't think it's a
sympathy
drop Marrick, or if Chesser was playing, drop Chesser. I think he might have been playing, and they're just being clear that they are going to give him those 2 games. I'm fine with it. I'm not going to kick and scream about this one. But I just don't think it matters that much. I know it'll get him 300 life membership, but he's played 298. He's got 200 club. I don't know what the 300 actually gets you. He's played 200. He'll play 280 games in his career, plus the preseason games. If it's about farewelling him and showing him respect, chuck him in a car and give him a massive lap of honour. So in saying all that, I think he'd be playing regardless. So
it's a win-win in that sense. I don't think anyone's going to get upset about it. The Eagles aren't playing finals. They haven't got the list that's going to really say that he's keeping out some quality at this end of the season. And Jared Schofield, I think, would have had a reasonable say in this to try and, because after the weekend's win, 3 games left. They're going to go down and take on North Melbourne in Tassie. They've got Carlton at home, and then they finish with Geelong. So he's probably just trying to manufacture some narrative to try and get this team. I mean, some players, I'm not saying some players, you could be forgiven for thinking you check out a little bit with the year, and maybe you're not going to be back, or maybe you're safe and you just get through the season. I don't know.
That's a good point. They've still got something to gain this year, West Coast, in terms of culture, and maybe like a resume for Jared Schofield to say, hey, this is what I did in the last 6 weeks. So if they like playing under him, which I'm hearing really positive things inside in the club, that he's good, messaging's good, he's motivator, all of that sort of stuff. If West Coast players do like that, well, this is their opportunity to kind of have a say in who gets picked as that coach, right? Like if you go and play for a coach, like you're going to put something on the wall for him. Skeeter, a little bit going on in AFL land over the last couple of days. Round 24 fixture has finally been released, so you and I will be working up to Stadium at Sunday afternoon, 4 p.m.
Sunday night. Seriously, 4:10. I mean, how often would you put a game in Melbourne at 6:10 p.m. on a Sunday night? Tell me how often that happens.
That's a very good point. I would say 0 out of 0.
Yeah. I mean, I understand it. It builds the drama. And it's not us against them with WA Victoria, but it's a case of, 6:10 over there for their TV audience. Which TV audience? For Fox. Obviously, it's not a 7 game. So,
just in general.
I get it.
They want to, on Sunday night, they want everyone talking about the Freo Port game.
I get it.
Which could decide final. So that's how they've stacked the fixture, right? They've gone Melbourne Collingwood at the MCG on the Friday, because that'll be probably the biggest game out of the weekend in terms of people going to it. No, not in terms of what's on the line. Well, Collingwood will get 60,000.
Collingwood could be done by then, but anyway, and Melbourne will be done. So anyway, just in terms of importance, I get it.
Would you have put Geelong West Coast on the Friday night?
Probably not.
Richmond Gold Coast?
Probably not.
Hawthorn North?
Probably not.
Brisbane Essendon?
Well, there could be something there.
Okay, at the Gabba. Okay, that was a maybe. Sydney Adelaide. Adelaide are done. Who cares?
You're right.
And then they want the Sunday, sort of special Sunday or Super Sunday. Bulldogs GWS to start the day.
Big game.
Carlton St Kilda, there'll be a lot on the line for Carlton. And then Fremantle St Kilda.
But bear in mind,
Fremantle Port Adelaide.
Given that fixture, the AFL's probably put about 3 weeks of thinking and deliberation into. We've put about 3 seconds, just potting them as we go along.
If you can actually bring me something that we haven't just spent the last 3 seconds thinking about before it comes out of our mouth, that'd be probably easier. Finals Wildcard.
Yeah.
Incoming.
It's
2025.
happening. It won't be called Wildcard.
What's it going to be called?
It might be called the
closing round? So we had opening round. Would it be closing round?
No, it might be, I don't know, Toyota Tee-Off, or something that's got some sponsor attached to it. It'll be 9th versus 10th.
The shelter, I don't know.
Shelter Showdown.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Very good. Skeeter, you might have a role in marketing to come. So you're happy with this wildcard round? There's very much a bit of a split ideas on this one.
Oh, you know what? We've got
don't tell me you don't care.
We've got a top 8.
Right.
We have a top 8.
Right.
And some of those teams getting in historically have been just scraping in and barely win more than half their games of the year. So in that sense, no. In terms of theatre, I get it. But how many teams are we looking at? 10 out of 18 to be in there?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So you've almost got to be completely Scheisenhausen to miss the finals, really.
So we had, maybe, but I know that's one argument. Too many are making it, but in the last 30 years, the Bulldogs were really the only side in Adelaide, maybe.
So why have it?
So we could. Why haven't we just been doing 6? We should have just been doing 6 when there was a 16-team competition, and so I would argue that we've always been sort of letting teams into the top 8 that don't really deserve to be there and aren't really going to be a chance to win the grand final. So what this does is it actually cuts down that 10th to 7th, which is what the wild card will be.
Yep.
They're all sides. They're all the same. Like they're probably not going to win the grand final, but it'll give us a good weekend of footy to watch.
Well,
that's what
I suppose the perfect example on the argument for is Hawthorn, and they're the team that you would probably fear playing at the MCG if they snuck into the wild card.
What would you rather? So I think if they bring the wild card in, I think they'll go to a pre-grand final bye in the same. I reckon they'll do that.
Which has to. It's the most obvious for so many reasons, including the concussion protocol.
So pre-grand final bye, wildcard round, I think they shortened the mid-season buys from 4 rounds to 3, and they just condensed them. That's how you get your round
And
back.
of course, no pre-season buy.
Yeah,
no pre-finals buy.
Correct.
Yep.
The wildcard will play then.
Yes.
So if we had that this weekend, you can't tell me that you wouldn't be excited with, and this is just 2 games for the weekend, Bulldogs v Hawthorn at Marvel, or the G, and Carlton v Essendon to get into finals. That would be fucking amazing. That would be so good.
Yeah, and to bear in mind, under the current system, it still means just as much because you're trying to get into the finals.
Correct.
But it's just got a title next to it. Let's be honest.
I don't think we need to get into the 18 teams and letting everyone in. If you just look at it as a spectacle, it'll be a knockout finals where everything's on the line and we get another week of it. And I think what we wait around for as fans is finals. You and I, mate, there's 3 rounds left and we're just like, let's get the finals, right? It'll bring finals a week early. We get do or die footy and it'll be the best footy we see all year. And we've got another week of it. I don't see the negative. I really don't.
Thank you, Andrew Dillon, for that sponsored AFL advertisement. No, I'm not going to. I say I couldn't actually give a toss whether
We finally got there.
No, bottom line is we've got finals. This is an extension. I don't mind your idea of just pushing it out and having that drama extended a bit longer. But this year is probably the example where that wildcard round would work pretty well.
A couple of trade and player talks, which we're hearing more and more. Liam Ryan, some interest from over east apparently. He's got 2 years left of a deal. It sounds like a bit of a fire sale at the West Coast Eagles at the moment, Skeeter. Jake Waterman's linked, Liam Ryan's linked, Tom Barris is linked.
I don't think Jake Waterman will be going. I think that he will sign a new deal or certainly extension of his deal shortly. That's what I'm hearing. That's probably more likely than not. He wants to stay here, and I think the club would want him to stay here. That's one.
Well, I think they want everybody to stay here.
I think Liam Ryan's one that I think you could look at him, and I've said that for a couple of years, to be honest with you. I don't know whether this is not his fault specifically, but his hamstrings have been average, hasn't played a lot of footy. I don't know if he's got himself fit enough. Again, you know more about Liam than myself. I would be entertaining, depending on what's coming the other way, a trade for Liam Ryan myself.
I think it'll be difficult to get him out of West Coast.
Well, that's you mean Western Australia.
Well, yeah, same thing effectively. Yeah. Unless Freo's interested.
But I'm saying it's more a case, and you've said this to me previously about. But hang on,
he'd be pretty good at Freo, actually. They probably need a player like him. Maybe Freo should.
We just created something there. No, but you're right. 2 years he's got. Other clubs, if they offer him 3 with, you're looking at an extra, I don't know, tell me an extra 500,000, 600, whatever it is, in the bank account after 3 years as opposed to, I don't know. I think it's worth considering from all parties.
This is what I was talking about on Monday with people being asleep at the wheel with contracts at West Coast. Like, the contract side of things doesn't matter because anyone can get anything done at the moment. So the piece of paper that they've written on doesn't really matter. And so West Coast fans, you should be open to everything because your list isn't very good and you're trying to get it better, right?
Yeah, and there might be some pain and maybe some supporters that think, hang on, this player is quality, but if you're getting something for the next 3 years, not the next 12 months, then you have to be open to it. Otherwise, you're just going to go in the hamster wheel.
If you're St Kilda, would you be meeting and interested in Taron Thomas?
No.
Neither would I.
No, I don't want to bar him, sorry.
No, I know you're strong on this, and I'm very strong. I'm right behind you. I don't understand it.
No, I don't get it. I think Gubby Allen was seen having a coffee with him. Now, don't get me wrong. If he can get his personal life in order, that's great. But at the moment, as an AFL footballer, no. I'm biased against that. What happened with him and those women that he's been involved with. I can't endorse having a player on your list that has that next to their name. I've got to be honest.
Couldn't agree with you more, and it's just a bit of desperation.
Seems strange, and St Kilda seem to make those. Not that they're locked into Taron Thomas, but St Kilda got a history of strange moves on this.
No one wants to go there, mate. That's why. Who's ever put their hand up and said, "Oh, gee, I want to go to St Kilda. Gee, I love the way they're playing. Their trajectory is going through the roof."
Even obviously Brad Hill
went there,
but even going back, Dan Hanbury went there, and he's couldn't get his body right. So it's almost like you feel you out of the Saints, and it feels like a club that's not going anywhere at the moment.
Last one I wanted to speak about was Taylor Harris in Paris. I don't know.
Saw that.
I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah,
I don't know if you have any strong views on that. There's certainly been a lot of talk in on socials, at least that I've seen, around would that happen in the men's game, and she being one of her team's best players, would
let's compare it to Jack Buckley.
Yep.
Who we were talking about in jest about going to watch his
a very good
his
point.
partner on that basis. So, to be honest with you, I think there is a difference. I think, and I'm not sure of her travel routine. I'm not sure of what the club allows her to do or whatever. But obviously, it's been ticked off. At the end of the day, I mean, the money they're getting paid, and that's a 10-week season or something of that ilk. It's 10 or 11 weeks. It's not. Yeah, I think there are differences between what we see with the men and the women. I don't think you'd see. Maybe you would, mate. 3 weeks before the start of the season, or 2 weeks, you'd see an AFL male going across, possibly.
We spoke about this with Buckley, and we spoke about Langdon going over to the wedding, and I spoke about, I missed a wedding. I wasn't picked and stayed for the birth of my child. I think that probably ranks quite high, birth of child. But I think we're getting in a little bit silly areas with this. That these players, and whether they're women or men, and I'm like, I don't think Buckley should have been going over to the Olympics. I think that's ridiculous. I don't think he ever asked, to be honest. But like they're getting paid to do this job. You don't just get to do whatever you want because you want to do it. Oh, gee, it's a good experience, or it's a good opportunity, or you got a big season coming up. And where the women's game is at the moment, like they're trying to get validity. Validity. They're trying to get a validity with what they are doing as a competition. Like they are trying to do that. And so whether it's women or the men, like I don't agree with Langdon going over to the wedding. Like you're paid to do this job here. But that's what you do. And that's what you're paid to do.
The only thing you don't know, for instance, in Taylor's case, in brief, whether she's gone over there, she might be there for a week, and whether she's doing anything, obviously, pre-season related over there. Now, I don't know, but I would have thought sometimes you've got to trust your athlete as well. I'm not saying this is
but this is like Collingwood going to Byron Bay or wherever they bloody were after the Gold Coast.
Well, they stayed, on the Gold Coast, went to Wet and Wild.
Yeah, Wet and Wild, and then they would have been in the Burleigh Pavilion having 1,000 beers. They weren't there doing a recovery ice bath.
And I will give you one.
I don't think Taylor's over there doing ice baths either.
Let me just recap. You said that the Swans boys would get on the piss on Monday or Tuesday. They didn't, to my understanding, but they were given a couple of days off, I was told.
Well, they did that. I can tell you that right now. I can tell you right now.
To refresh mentally and physically. Does that mean on the piss, is it?
You're kidding. Is that right?
Yeah, they were giving Monday,
Tuesday.
Tuesday
I was
off.
spot on. Let me tell you right now, a couple of days off to refresh mentally and physically is a fucking green light to the pub, doors shut, make sure no one sees you, and get on the beers. That's what that is.
Okay, I was trying to give you, because I knew
to the bottom of it.
You'd back yourself.
Who'd you ring? Horse? You ring Horse Longmire?
No, I've just got contacts. You've got contacts, I've got contacts. Let's move on.
Will Schofield, Mark Reading, Shoulder FootyCast.
You love the Olympics, don't you?
Who's your contact?
It doesn't matter. But, you bring up all this stuff about the Olympics. One issue that I thought was amazing, you talk about people being here, people there. What about the pole vaulter who went over and he got his thing caught on the pole? Did you see that?
Imagine he'd get home to his mates and he'd go, he goes, I could have won gold at the Olympics, but my dick's too big.
Just quickly, how can it be that big when he's like, normally for me, it'd be like the George Costanza, the shrivel factor, when you're nervous. And
it was huge. Huge.
And he's knocked it over.
Social media followers are going bananas.
Girls are suddenly DMing him, is that the right term?
Yeah, that's right, Skeeter. Skeeter's sliding into the DMs. Okay, can we get to the football?
Yeah, let's go back.
West Coast, North Melbourne, Hobart. Wow.
I'm doing this game.
Both teams coming off a win. Both teams coming off a win.
That'll be the first time, I reckon, in 3 years.
Yeah, for North and West Coast.
The same time.
Absolutely. Harry Edwards will miss this one with that concussion. Tom Barris will miss a second week. He did his hammy, just so we know.
No, it's awareness.
No.
Awareness.
He did his... What are we talking about here? It's like he was concussed and he did his hammy.
In the same incident?
No, he did his hammy before the game, I believe. Just don't take that to the bank, though. Does Matt Flynn come in for the Cherry matchup? Because he is the All-Australian ruckman.
Cherry's going enormous, isn't he? Yeah. His numbers are terrific. And, he's got... I can't understand the Matt Flynn non-selection if he's regarded so highly for 3 months and need him back in the side. That's obviously under Adam Simpson. Is it Jared Schofield? Because he did have 42 hit-outs before last week in the waffle, didn't get back in. Oh, yeah, it's a curious one to me, I've got to say. Even though Jack Williams, I thought, provided great support to Bailey Williams,
in the end, the ruck position, if you're not Cherry or Gawn or English or Marshall, it's just about competing. If you're not one of those top guys, if you don't have one of those top guys, you just need to compete. Like I think I said a few weeks ago, it'd be the bloody easiest role to do ever, play in the ruck. Go on. I said this about Draper. Go and look at your opponent in the eye and just take them on all day. Like they're not that much faster. They can't be that much quicker or faster. So whoever's on Cherry, just compete with him. Just wrestle with him. Just don't let him take a mark out in the wing uncontested. Like don't go running around doing your own thing. This is why ruckman, mate, I question their smarts sometimes, Skeeter, because it can't be that bloody hard, Skeet. I'm telling you.
Okay.
West Coast Perth in the waffle last week.
Yes.
Flynn had 30. So he had 30 hit-outs, 14 disposals and a goal.
That's what I'm saying. The numbers prior to that, before his non-selection, I thought he might have been injured, but he's just not being picked at the moment. Now, that might change this afternoon.
Have we seen Jared Schofield put a tag on anyone? Brisbane, they
were going to True. Was going to go to Sarong.
That's exactly right. And I think the week before, Neil, I'm thinking Brisbane, don't know. So Sheasel and LDU would be guys I'd be paying attention to. They surely don't have the arrogance to think that they're that much better than North, that they just go head-to-head with them.
They're a bit banged up, though. Even, I think, got to say the Eagles at the moment. They are. Elliot Yeo admitted that during the week. And, yeah, Harry Edwards, they're going to be short in defence, aren't they? So I think Rhett Bazzo might get the opportunity to come back in this week, potentially.
Yes.
I think he had 14 disposals roughly in the waffle. And
be good to see him back. I mean, he showed some promise last year and he's suffered with injury a lot.
He's been through a tough 12 months.
Bloody oath.
On and off the field, let's be honest. So, yeah, he might be the player that comes in and we get a look at over the course of the weekend.
Andrew Gaff is on 99 games of 30-plus disposals. Can you see Gaffy turning up over the next 2 weeks? Can you see him getting 30 touches? Has he got enough in him to go and get 30 one more time?
Oh, has he got? Possibly.
Maybe. Maybe. Wouldn't put it past him.
No, certainly.
Loves the pill, Gaffy.
Against North, you wouldn't put it past him, would you?
Nah. No, I wouldn't. How's this one going to go? West Coast, North, Melbourne. It's a really difficult one to pick. I probably won't move past North. West Coast away from home haven't been competitive all year, really.
North's been good. North's been solid.
Yep.
Win against Richmond. Got enough over the past 2 months to show us that they're tracking in the right direction. So I'm thinking North wins this, and particularly after that. I thought the Gold Coast performance was great by the Eagles, but I just don't feel that they've got I just don't feel they've got enough in the tank left. I think they would have burned a lot of cookies last Friday night.
I agree. North Melbourne, we're both picking Fremantle, Geelong, Optus Stadium. This is a really important game for both sides. Freo, let's be honest, they shit the bed last weekend against Essendon. They just needed to win that game. It would have put them in such a great spot, and this game would have been even bigger, but it's still a big one regardless. Nat Fyfe should return from his suspension. They missed him at those centre bounces late in that game. I did see somewhere Andy Brayshaw and Caleb Sarong were stuck on the bench together for 7 minutes in that last quarter of the Essendon game while they were absolutely just having their way in the middle. So that's an error by the Freo interchange team. So they get Nat Fyfe back. If either of these sides want to finish top four, they've probably got to win this game, Geelong and Freo. Geelong's got an easier run home than Fremantle do, but that's why it's a big game. Sam De Koning, what's the update on his knee, Riley? He's going to miss with a knee injury, but has he done an ACL, PCL? Can you find out for us, please? I thought you had your finger. He's a test.
I don't think he'll be playing for a bit.
No.
I think he's out for a while, that's huge for them. What I will say, I think it's Jeremy Cameron's 250th game. Now,
no. And Jordan Clark's 100th. Double milestone.
Yeah, and of course Jordan Clark, who kicked his first goal in the AFL, courtesy of Tommy Hawkins in the goal square. You remember that?
So we've seen that played on repeat, right?
Yeah.
It's like Tom Hawkins has kicked a goal after the siren against Hawthorn and he's given a handball to Jordan Clark. Yeah. It's about the only two things he's done in his career, apparently.
And hit the post in the grand final, which wasn't called.
Yeah, right. Yeah, correct. But the Jordan Clark one, I've been pissing myself laughing. Everyone's it's great. Give the player his first goal. So Tomahawk I reckon begrudgingly gives that to him. If you watch the vision, he gives it and just starts walking off to the middle of the ground. Doesn't give him a high five. Everyone's getting around him. And then about 10 seconds later, Tom goes, "Oh, righto, you're like, good job, you little shit," like whipping around. So double milestone. So we've got Jeremy Cameron 250th, Jordan Clark 100th.
So who plays on Cameron? Because that's critical.
I think they'll give it to Draper. Yeah, I think that's the matchup. I don't think. Look, Luke Ryan's done it in the past, and maybe, but I thought Luke Ryan v Stringer. Stringer was pretty good last week, and there was the speed factor. So maybe I think about it. Maybe it is Luke Ryan, but gee, throwing the keys to Draper would be an interesting challenge. I think he's got the physical makeup to go and get a job done on that. Playing on Cameron, you need to be physical and you need to be athletic. Like you need to be able to match him with his run, right? And he's quick and he's agile and he goes up the ground, but you need to be physical. And so you need like a tall enough player on him. I think it could be Draper if they want to challenge him.
And I think it's worthwhile touching on Hayden Young, where he sits at the moment in terms of just a quick stat. He ranks equal fifth in the AFL for kicks into the forward 50 with 95. The side's scoring a goal with 25% of the time when that happens. So he's not just entering inside 50, he's finding targets. And when he's got ball in hand off the left, inevitably it's to the advantage of his forwards.
Well, they need someone like that because some of their midfielders butcher it. There'd be a few of them with entries like that would be down around under 10%, I reckon. So that's why he's so important to their side. Talking about important players, Josh Tracy, knee injury. So he did it, came back on. It looked bad when it happened, but then he came back on and played. So I thought, gee, maybe he's okay. But that's not sounding good at all, Josh Tracy. There's potentially he's out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, well, he's massive. And look, I know that he has been spoken about highly in regards to a All-Australian berth, even though he's probably just on the cusp. But if he played well and kicked, say, 10 in the last 3 rounds or something, takes him to 55, it's a really good argument. But the way I heard Justin Longmuir yesterday, I would suspect he's going to struggle to play this week.
Yeah, I don't think he's playing this week at all. I'm hearing worse than that, maybe. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I have no idea what I'm talking about. Who are we picking?
I'll go with Fremantle on the basis, but this Geelong side is capable, no question.
If I had to put my guarantee of the week, it'd be Fremantle to beat Geelong at Optus Stadium this week. Guarantee. Like, put my money where it counts.
Okay. No. Okay. Is that just doing it to just piss your nephew off or not?
Oh, well, a little bit, yeah, a little bit. He's not happy. He's seething. He's got his Geelong flag. He's waving behind the cameras right now. So we both pick Freo, and I say they're guaranteed to win. Absolute guarantee. Lay down there. Sydney v Collingwood SCG Friday night. Big game. Collingwood somehow still alive for finals. I thought they were done last week and the week before.
Yeah, extraordinary. That win, it was not unsurprising with Scotty Pendlebury's 400th, and they've got Carlton's measure. They just keep winning the close games against them, don't they? So that wasn't a huge surprise to me. The
mentality side of things for this game is really interesting. Like the Swans, off the back of a piss up, and it's 112 point. They had a piss up, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Off the back of that, and 112 point absolute blood bathing. Versus Collingwood, who get themselves up for their club champion. They clearly put a lot of hard work into that one. So emotionally high, Sydney emotionally low. I wonder in the middle, if they meet there, who's the better side? I think it's Sydney.
Yeah, I think it is. But you're right. Tell me any side that has been beaten by 100 and plus points have come out the next week and dominated. It's pretty rare. It is very rare. I don't see it happening. But there is too much quality there. I just wonder, this is probably the greatest test of John Longmire's coaching this year.
Riley, this is something that better work, I think. You probably stole it from that thing I sent you, and it's a thing that Skeet's reading off right now. Sydney didn't have its first disposal inside 50 until 17 minutes into the second quarter last week. That is the longest amount of time for this stat ever recorded. That is a long time to get a touch in your forward 50. 17 minutes in the second quarter.
It's ridiculous.
That is outrageous. I wonder what happened in this game. I didn't see the Sydney Port game. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Wow,
just not getting the hands on the footy.
So they've won one of their last 6 games.
Two of them have been really disappointing. The Dogs and obviously Port, they got absolutely smashed.
And then there were tight games against
Brisbane,
Freo.
Fremantle and St Kilda.
Yes.
Beaten by a combined total of 5 points.
Right, okay. So Jordan De Goey's out. He's done for the year.
Yep.
Tendon. That's disappointing. Rampy and Amadi should return. Rowbottom, I think, is out again after the wrist, and he came back in. I think he's out again. It's Jeremy Howe's 250th. So how does this one go? A loss ends Collingwood season, and Sydney probably lose top spot if they lose.
Yeah, I think Collingwood probably fired their big shot last week against Carlton for Scotty Penderbury. I just think their injuries. De Goey's massive for me, him missing. Nick Dacos obviously will lead from the front, and they've, SCG, I don't think they play badly there. I just think Sydney, they have been embarrassed, humiliated, and if they don't respond on the weekend, on Friday, is it Friday night? Yeah. If they don't respond Friday night, their top two chances become a bit vulnerable.
I agree. I pick Sydney, and then if they don't win, then we're not picking them again. We can't pick them again this year.
Well, I'm not sure we can't pick them again, but their premiership chances, they're now second favourites behind Brisbane, which a month ago you would have just laughed at.
They've lost favouritism, have they?
Brisbane are new favourites.
Yeah, wow. They have Sydney to finish off, Collingwood, Essendon and Adelaide. So, yeah, we'll be picking them against Essendon and Adelaide. Brisbane v GWS at the Gabba. This is another awesome game. So I'm glad we got a couple of good games here because there's a couple of stinkers in this round as well. Saturday, 11:45 at the Gabba. Lions have won 9 in a row and lead AFL for points scored per game in that period. Josh Kelly and Cornelio both likely to be ins for GWS, so they're big returns and it'll completely reshape how the middle of their ground looks, like to be honest. Like they're both bona fide midfielders that'll come in and change everything that happens. And Peatling's been doing a really good job, but he probably goes more to a half-forward flank. With those two back in, some big matchups all over the ground. I think, I look at either end of the ground, like huge matchups in the forward line for Brisbane with Danaher and Hipwood. Is Hipwood still a defender? I don't think he's a defender still.
I think Harris Andrews back changes that dynamic. But,
so he's back in the game, very good.
And Joe Danaher had 10 shots at goal last week, so that shows you he's having a really good impact. And look, there's so many numbers that are stacking up for Brisbane Lions, including, how about this? They've taken 101 uncontested marks per game, ranked number 1. So they are possessing the footy.
At Brisbane?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
And they play the Gabba well. I just feel that this is one of those teams that now, having somehow rediscovered their mojo, they have had injuries. Those that have come in have been able to fill the void. I just feel they're really well placed to win it now.
GWS have the hardest run home out of any top 8 side, Brisbane, Freo and the Bulldogs. So I think they lose this one. I'm picking GWS. I think even with the players back, I think Brisbane's form's too hard to deny, although I would love to see GWS win. Skeeter, I'm not sure if we spoke about this on the Shelter FootyCast, but they've gone 5-0, I believe.
While you're looking at that, just clarifying, Scully's tipping Brisbane, not the Giants. You did sort of...
Did I say both?
You probably said both in 10 seconds. That's okay.
Usually you can get it right. If you say both are going to win, then you can just fall back on the one you said, Skeeter. Who are you pick? And who did you pick for Sydney Collingwood? You picked Sydney, right?
Pick Sydney. I'm picking Brisbane. I'm playing it safe because I'm actually tracking okay in my footy tipping.
Okay. GWS have won 5 in a row.
Yeah, they're playing good footy. And don't discount them from finishing, say top 4. They lose this, which we both think they possibly will. It makes it tough. But they are the side that I think has got as much upside to them as anyone else outside of, Brisbane's in form. We know Port Adelaide's a bit of a sleeper as well for those of us that are still waiting to see whether September's they can achieve anything. But the Giants, we know, can play September footy.
Essendon, Gold Coast.
Wow, let's keep this short.
Neither of these teams are playing finals.
I don't think so. And I read in the Herald Sun on Monday, Essendon have got the it back or that edge. The edge. Essendon got the edge back.
Not the Essendon edge.
Yeah.
Well, we're not rolling that out again.
That's what they rolled out. I'm going 15 minutes of footy, and albeit they started well, but no, what I saw was more an indictment of Fremantle than greatness by Essendon. And to be fair, they kicked 5 goals late in the piece to win it, which is credit to them. But
they were nowhere for most of that game.
No, but they'll knock over a side against the Gold Coast who they are completely shot when it jumps on. They jump on a plane and play interstate. They are completely devoid of confidence.
Well, I mean, if Essendon win, which they will, there's no way the Pork Snags get this one up. The Gold Coast Suns, right? The Pork Snags won't get this done. Essendon will probably be in the 8, I reckon.
Yeah.
So with 2 rounds remaining, they're in the 8 and they're not going to play finals?
No, I'm with you.
Okay, I'm with me too. What am I saying?
No, I wasn't actually listening. I was thinking about other things, including what I'm doing today.
What are you up to?
I'm just doing some other stuff. And we're both
You're preparing for your MC gig while I'm speaking, while you're doing another gig.
No, we've got another gig on Saturday, which I'm trying to work into my other schedule.
This is how your brain works. You're Rolodexing your own schedule.
In my head. I'm thinking, can I do that job, and that job? Put in 3 invoices in one day.
Get enough hazies into you, and I reckon you'll be able to. Bombers have won their last 6 against Gold Coast at Marvel. Gold Coast aren't winning this.
No, I mean, they'll probably have a couple of moments where you think they will, but the Bombers, just so much more to play for, and the Gold Coast Suns are disappointing again.
I don't care about that game at all. No idea. Melbourne, Port Adelaide, MCG Saturday. Big test for Port Adelaide in their hunt for the top 4 finish. Are they the real deal after their big win against Sydney? This is the sort of game that I can see Port Adelaide rolling up and losing. I don't know why. After 112 point, they look a bit of, they get a bit of swagger about themselves, and then
if Melbourne were playing better footy and Melbourne were in the hunt, which I don't think they are.
Yeah, correct.
I don't have that same confidence.
No Stephen May.
No Stephen May. That's big for them. I just they have fallen away. Melbourne, probably since that game we saw against Essendon. Remember we saw them there.
Yep.
And the following week, from memory, they came to Perth and got absolutely towelled by Fremantle.
Yeah.
They haven't looked great, and obviously Petrarca missing, Gawn's missed some footy. No, I think Port Adelaide, they can win as many games during the home and away season as you like, and if they can make the top 4, then we have to reassess where. I don't think they're contenders yet because I still don't believe that they are September bulletproof.
We're both picking Port Adelaide.
Yep.
Like if they win and Sydney don't get against Collingwood, they'll be equal points with Sydney at the top of the ladder, which is outrageous.
Yeah, it's amazing.
A really good year. Carlton, Hawthorn. I think this is the game of the round.
Absolutely.
The good one just before. Can't remember what it was now. Brisbane GWS.
Yeah, now this is the game that I think is going to have probably 85,000 at the MCG.
Should be more, shouldn't they? How do they not get?
Well, 90,000. Okay, around. It's a big crowd.
Okay, big crowd. Hawthorn, they have to win. They lose, I don't think they can play finals. Carlton, look, I don't think it's not as dire for Carlton because they're 4 points clear of Hawthorn. But if Carlton lose this one, like they've got finals on the line, like that, which is just outrageous seeing where we were 6 weeks ago with the Blues. I think it's going to be a ripper. Adam Cerra will miss with a hamstring. I'm not sure where his footy's been in general.
I think their soft tissue injuries have been a concern for Carlton.
Carlton as a side rely on too few for too much. Cripps, Walsh, Curnow, Mackay when he's going and weedering. And I know that's a sign of a good team when their good players play well, but outside of those guys, you don't get enough contribution from the lesser likes. Probably.
I'm finding this game really hard to read. I mean, Hawthorn's run its past 3 at the MCG by 47 points. They led by, 28 against the Giants, 3/4 time or in the last quarter. So they did a lot right last week. The problem with Hawthorn, they concede minimal inside forward 50 entries, but when it does go inside their defensive half, they tend to cough up a score. So that's a concern a bit for them. But by and large, I think you're right. Carlton have got the quality of the A-listers, but the even spread of what we see from Hawthorn, I think still gives them a really good shot. Yeah, well,
the way their list is built is different, and I think Hawthorn have more contributors. And in a tight game, in a game that matters, and yeah, the big players will stand up. But if you are able to quell them a little bit, having an even contribution across the side, like that's what you need to win big games. You need everyone playing their role. You need everyone on the same page. I don't think Carlton have been on the same page for a long time. That's just
so you're leaning towards Hawthorn.
Absolutely, I am. Yeah, I'm pretty confident to pick Hawthorn.
Okay.
Don't let me talk you. I know.
No, I think it's a 50-50 game, isn't it? I think
not for me.
Wouldn't be surprised if Carlton won. You would be.
I'm surprised with a lot of things in life, Skeeter. I don't know. I just think Hawthorn win it. I think Hawthorn win. I'm pretty confident about it too.
Okay. Lloyd Meek, been terrific for them. Charlie Curnow, I think unfairly gets whacked whenever they get beaten.
Who are you picking?
I'll go with Carlton.
Richmond, St Kilda at Marvel Stadium.
We've got
Sunday,
this game.
1 p.m. What do you mean we've got this game?
We've got this game on radio. You and I. You showed me your schedule.
No way.
Well, you showed me your phone. It's a Richmond St Kilda.
I was trying to act dumb, but yeah, okay. Yeah, we've got Richmond St Kilda.
From 12 to 6.
It's on the same day as Carlton Hawthorn, the game of the year. 100,000 people at the MCG. We're calling Richmond St Kilda at Marvel Stadium. Tune in, everybody. It'll be a great game. We definitely won't be talking shit on radio. I'm not giving this a preview. Got to be honest, not previewing it. Richmond haven't won at Marvel for 3 years. Dusty's out. He's not going to be there. Either am I. I'm going to be calling it. I won't even be there.
St Kilda, for what it's worth, were horrendous last week.
Yeah, don't care.
They were absolutely putrid.
Yeah, don't care about this.
They scored just 39 points. It's the lowest ever score at Marvel under Ross Lyon. For what it's worth, the Saints have won 4 of their last 5 against Richmond by an average of 29
I don't
points.
care. Scared. I told you I don't care.
Josh Battle, I think, is going to stay at the club.
Is he?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
And Ryan Marshall's
You know why? You know why? Who was he linked to?
Hawthorn.
Right. You can't have too many key backmen on your list, can you, Hawks?
So you think Barras is across the line?
I've already said that. I've said that. How many times can I say that?
So the Hawks beat the Bulldogs to Tom Barras?
I've already said that.
Today, did you?
I've said it multiple times.
Okay.
I've said it multiple times. I mean, haven't heard any stories about Luke Beveridge flying over to Western Australia to meet.
Yeah, but you mightn't know that that's happened. Anyway, you're very keen or very certain that it's a Hawthorn-Barras marriage. So if that's the case,
you're telling me that Battle's not going there. I just wonder why. They were very keen on him about 4 weeks ago.
Well, there might be other clubs looking at it as well. But yeah, right. Hawthorn was the club that was probably in. And the Bulldogs might get into Battle now. But I'm hearing that he's going to stay.
Okay. Who are you picking?
St Kilda. And yeah, looking
with
for...
no confidence.
No, I've got confidence, but I've just got no interest.
Adelaide Western Bulldogs.
Oh, that's another game.
Yeah, there is. I picked Adelaide on Monday.
You did, and you got to stick by it.
I am, absolutely. Scully's roughie of the week. Adelaide to beat the Western Bulldogs. Crows haven't hosted the Dogs at Adelaide since 2018. Dogs are absolutely flying at the moment. They've outscored opponents by 300 points in the first 10 minutes of quarters, ranked first in the AFL. So make sure you've got the brakes on early. Isaac Rankin returns from his 4-week suspension, Skeeter.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, you like that one? Dan Curtin, who was the sub last week. He's the only player to not play in the top 10 to not play a full game of AFL.
Yeah, strange selection use or strange use of him this year.
They brought him on with 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Not sure you can impact a game with 3 minutes to go.
No. Look, your argument here stacks up reasonably well because the Dogs have lost their past 4 games at Adelaide Oval by an average of 21 points.
You're guilty.
But their form has been... You look at the form and you say they should be winning this. There's so much for them to play for. But I agree. I think there's an element of danger in this one given Adelaide.
Don't let me talk you into this.
No,
I
you're
picked this
not.
on Monday.
No, I'm tipping Bulldogs.
Okay.
I have to tip a side that is playing better footy.
Adelaide win. Absolutely. Will Schofield, Mark Reddings, Shelter FootyCast. Make sure you get those tickets to Frothtown, August 23, 24, froth.town for tickets there. It's a beer festival for absolute legends like Skeeter. The Hazies will be down there thanks to Shelter Big Tent. Make sure you get down and enjoy those. I'll get there on the Saturday. I think I'll be there August 24th. All right, let's get a couple of questions from our audience, our listeners and viewers. Skeeter, I've got Jordan Flynn up first. If you do want to send us an email, footycast@backchatstudios.com.au will get you there. Or you can send us a DM on Instagram, Shelter FootyCast, or put a comment below in the YouTube show. Plenty of feedback in there on Monday, by the way, for me personally, which is great.
Was it negative or positive?
Oh, I was quite negative, yeah. No, people weren't happy with how negative I was on West Coast.
Because I was trying to balance it out a little bit.
No one said anything about anything to do with you, if that's what you're asking.
No, I'm saying you were quite negative. I was trying to be, not just trying, I was slightly removed from it and saying maybe there's another...
I don't know how me being negative about West Coast is anything short of truthful. It's truthful, mate. They have been dog shit for 3 years. They won the wooden spoon last year. Yeah. They haven't played finals for 3 years, haven't looked like it, haven't won games, haven't been competitive. Their coach is sacked, the CEO's sacked, the fitness guy's sacked. How can I be, what positivity would you like me to pull out of it? We got Harley Reid. Great job. Great job, everybody. Really going well down there. Hey, legends. This is from Jordan. I don't understand. Scully, you're so negative. Sorry. Sorry about that. You want me to fucking polish a turd. What do you want me to do, Skeeter?
No, I love your passion and you're speaking your opinion, which is great. It's never as good, never as bad. Although it is as bad.
It's as bad. Let me tell you. Hey, legends, from Jordan. Listening to the Shoulder FootyCast and the chat about Freo. Scars, yeah, good. Get me off West Coast. Scars was saying that the way they lost in the last quarter meant that they're not ready to win the flag yet. And honestly, with the team they put out on the park that day, I have to completely agree with you, Will. The young crop probably don't have what it takes just yet. However, I think you're underestimating the influence that Fife would have had in that last quarter. I get that he's not the player that he used to be, and he is more of a role player lately. But in that last quarter, he would have been massive in the centre square. Zach Merritt and the Dons mids in the last quarter, as it was on the weekend, would have been thinking, okay, we are 20 points down and we need to win this game to make finals up against Sarong, Brayshaw and Young. All good players, but still young lads. I think we can try our guts out and get a win. But if Fife was in there, they subconsciously would have been thinking we need to also get past this dual Brownlow medalist who is a boss at clearances in big games. I personally think he could have been massive in finals. P.S. Also, don't underestimate the importance of veteran Michael Walters in a game like that, who was also out. He was the spark in the 2022 elimination final when they were getting chopped by the Doggies, and this is coming from a Carlton supporter. I don't know if we can go all the way back to 2022 on Michael Walters.
That's a bit of a stretch. The Fife one's, it's an interesting chat. Look, bottom line is, I don't think one person specifically, with the way they operated as a midfield unit, look, Fife would have been handy right throughout the game, no question, but you're going to have players missing at various stages through either finals campaign or between now, like Josh Tracy, if he misses on Saturday. Yeah. How do they cover that? So,
But Brayshaw, Sarong, Young, that three.
Well, they've been getting it done for the last 3. I mean, exactly right. So they've been getting it done more often than not, but they, as a collective, need to take responsibility, along with Sean Darcy and Luke Jackson, I guess, for what happened.
It was interesting we didn't see Luke Jackson as much in that sentiment. Like he's
because you saw Draper dominate Darcy, I thought, or certainly got on top of him in the last quarter, and Jackson didn't tend to play, up the ground as much.
G'day, Scully and Skeeter. Just want to say a massive cheers for a no-bullshit footy breakdown for those living away from Australia. Looking forward to the run into finals. Keep up the good work. Cheers from Chewy.
Well, where's Chewy living, though? He just says away from Australia. I'm just thinking, where is he? Is he in Bali? Is he?
We need a little...
Baltimore?
We need a little holiday to where Chewy is.
I just want to know where he is so I can give him a shout-out.
Shout a FootyCast from Canada, maybe.
Well, I'll just go back to my hometown.
Have you got a Canadian accent you can give us?
No, only after 6 shelters of the Shelter Hazy IPA.
Any more sips of that? Or?
No, I haven't yet. No, I'm wait till I get off air.
This is a little bit of a long one.
You just discovered that.
Is it worth it? Is it a good one? Is it good?
It's like the pole vaulter.
This is from Max Hansen. Max, I'm going to give you the pre-warning. If I don't like it halfway through, I'm cutting you off. All right? This is like talk back where you just fade them down halfway through the chat. All right. Regarding Jack Graham and the McGovern brothers after the siren, from whatever. So, Skeeter. So this is okay. Right. This is going in depth. This is directly quoting you, Skeeter. I know this is quoting me. Skeeter. Sorry. Skeeter asked, how long ago did you hear about the Jack Graham trade rumours? It's just come out of nowhere, essentially. Oh, God. Max, if you're calling us out, mate. In early May, John Ralph, I don't really stay across what John's got to put out there, Max. In early May, John Ralph reported that Jack Graham was linked to the Eagles. The Tigers might want to have to fight retain Graham, blah, blah, blah. Ralph did an interview article with Graham. Okay. Ryan Daniels reported that on the first. Oh, so you're having a crack here, Max. Okay. Since Graham has only played 11 games this season and it's a lower key player compared to Baker and Bolder, I think this link fell to the wayside to the media landscape. The recent reports made it feel like he popped out of nowhere.
So it was out in May, was it?
Apparently,
it might have been mentioned.
Apparently Ralphie and apparently Ryan Daniels all over this. They are newsbreakers. I'll just let you know, and if you're tuning into this program for news breaking, Skeeter's a bit of a newsbreaker at times, really. And we'll give you a little bit. But I'm not finger on the pulse with this sort of stuff sometimes.
No, look, so who's the correspondent?
Maxi boy.
Maxi, no, you're right. It was probably discussed back in May, but I guess there's so much footy talk going around, you don't always monitor. Like, it was almost like a done deal last week when I read these are the guys coming to West Coast. I went, okay, that's great. But Graham wasn't a player that immediately stuck out in my mind. So thank you, Maxi boy, for
Maxi's email continues, and I want to read this because of how it ends. That's the only reason you're getting a reprieve here, Maxi boy. The last time McGovern brothers kicked a goal after the siren, on the McGovern brothers after the siren, in round 9 Then round 19, 2017, Adelaide were down 6 points against the Pies at the G, and Mitch McGovern took a contested mark with 1 second left, 25 out directly in front. He kicked a goal for the draw after the Crows. Trailed by 50 at the start of the third quarter, so 72-22. That's how that game went. In round 21, 2018, West Coast were behind 2 points against Port Adelaide Oval. Jeremy McGovern took a mark 40 metres out with 30 seconds left and kicked a goal, winning the game after the siren, trailing by 28 points. Deja vu after the 2017 elimination final for Shuey the previous year.
Is this just to revive our memories?
Round 21, 2024. If you can't remember this one, Skeeter, then you've got worse amnesia than Joe Biden. I don't know.
Is this still Maxi boy?
This is still Maxi.
Maxi, how about getting a job, you numpty, and just maybe not worry about... You come and sit here and try and remember. I can't remember. Like, between us, there's not a huge... We're both taking hits to the head for different reasons during our lives, but Maxi boy's just gone whack.
Oh, he's gone whack. Max, look...
Because we don't remember every stat and every game
Max
in the history of footy.
So, Max,
good
well
on you,
done.
Maxi. No, keep it coming in.
Keep us in line.
We'd rather be held to account and... Well, no, I'd rather be told I'm good, actually, to be honest.
I don't think we would. Skeeter, that's pretty much us done, mate. We're going to get your investments on the weekend. Yeah. And I want to find out who your source is at the Sydney Swans. You can do that over at Patreon, VIPs only. Follow us on social, Shelter FootyCast, everything at shelterfootycast.com.au. Skeeter, have a great weekend. I'll see you for Richmond, St Kilda.
Can't wait.